In 1066, the most famous battle in British history took place on this field. "940 years later to the day, in the largest medieval battle reenactment ever, that battle was recreated. On the 14th of October 1066, King Harold of England marched his troops to this field in Sussex to defend his crown against the invading force of Duke William of Normandy. Today, over 3,000 reenactors have come from around the world to recreate the battle.
You got people from Russia, from Ukraine, from Italy, from France, England of course, Germany, Austria. There's Americans, Australians, it's all over the world.
In total we have been driving for 27 hours to get here.
Calgary, Canada. 8.5 hours on a plane, hour and a half drive.
We have came from Spain in order to take part in this great event, and we are very proud to do it.
One group have even recreated Harold's 350-mile-long march to battle.
We walked from York. It takes us sort of 3 weeks. We're ready to take on anybody.
Over 22,000 people flocked to see the reenactment. The last time there were this many people here was during the Battle of Hastings itself.
This is brilliant! And also, us Normans, we're the best.
It's absolutely fantastic. There's something like 100 Norman cavalry storming up. There's going to be something like 3,000 blokes bashing the hell out of them. And I've seen some chainmail. I've got to get out. I'm going to get a helmet, chainmail and a sword. I'm going to raid the bank account and I'm going to be in there.
Oots! Normans, we love you! Saxons, die!
This will be the largest medieval reenactment ever on British soil, following every twist and turn of the battle. Much of what is known about the Battle of Hastings comes from just one tapestry, now in Bayeux. Transforming that record into a physical reality on such a vast scale has been a labour of love for everyone involved.
It's just the whole excitement of just building it, recreating it, and learning it. It's creating something from nothing based upon a few sketches, a few words in a book here and there, and what you see around you coming up this weekend is just a result of that, and it's the same passion that everyone here has.
The reenactors didn't just come to fight the battle. Many of them eat, sleep and live just as the soldiers and their followers would have done nearly a millennium before. Whole families get involved.
You tend to start off because you have an interest in the period. You stay because of the friends that you make, the people that you see, and all of quite a few of us have got second generation now and third generation. There's whole families who come.
Great pride is taken in their equipment. Everything has to be accurate to within a 16-year period, from 1050 to 1066, and historical accuracy is thoroughly policed.
Just sit under your shoes, please. Thank you.
I've been practicing and training and buying equipment and making equipment for 4 years for today. I freely admit this is my midlife crisis. I'm here today.
Such dedication helps bring medieval history to life in a way that no tapestry or book ever could.
Right from the beginning, we had all these people all in the right dress, cooking things over the open fire, and all these fantastic weapons, and the kids were just able to pick them all up and charge about with them, from what I could tell. Actually seeing people in the flesh, dressed in the right stuff, walking around talking about their chainmail, brilliant, brilliant.
You can answer your own questions by seeing it for yourself.
To understand what happens during the battle and its reenactment, understanding the geography of the site is critical.
The Battle of Hastings, it's got to be looked at on 2 levels. Down here and up there.
940 years ago, Harold had arrived first. He took the high ground, where the ruins of the abbey are today. Here, his best defensive stratagem could be used to maximum advantage: the shield wall.
The shield wallers try their best to interlock the shields so that spears can't get through the top. And literally, you'll be there stabbing your opponent in the face, in the eyes, side of the neck. That's all you could get to. Good bloody fun.
As the Normans took up position at the bottom of the hill, English elite troops called housecarls taunted them with their huge axes which could kill a man or a horse with one blow.
It's a shock weapon more than anything else. You're chopping people in half, you're down to do as much damage as possible in the shortest possible time.
The Normans may have been at a disadvantage at the bottom of the hill, but they matched the English in numbers. Originally, each side had around 7,000 men, in all 7 times the number on the field today. And at his disposal, William had an impressive range of tactics.
He's got the mobility of cavalry, he's got the solid attacking power of the infantry, and he's got the firepower, the missile potential of his archers. And he managed to use those in a very clever and coordinated way.
William began the assault. Rather than sending in his heavy infantry straight away, William decided to thin out the English ranks using his archers.
The great thing about the archers is that they're able to stand about 120 to even 200 yards away from the battle zone and still able to maim, kill and take out vast chunks of the army. It would have been the first time that these people had ever seen anything like that.
The arrows rained down on the English, but with their shield wall intact and some of their shields raised above their heads, the English troops survived relatively unscathed. If William was going to shift the English off the ridge, then there was no choice but to send in the heavily armed infantry. Fighting at the shield wall was ferocious.
The hand-to-hand combat at the shield wall is almost beyond our comprehension to imagine. Dirty, great big two-handed axes swinging through the air from the Saxon side and slicing heads and limbs off of men and horses. Screams and shouts. The ground, this slope, would have been slippery with blood. That was what the Norman infantry had to steel themselves, and cavalry, to do, to advance time and time again up against that hill.
For the reenactors, safety is crucial. There is extensive training beforehand to make sure everyone knows how to fight. But even so, this is not a sport for the faint-hearted.
Safety is paramount. We don't want anybody going off in an ambulance. In the training yesterday, we had one cut needing stitches, a couple that didn't need stitches, and one badly broken finger. That was just in the assessment. On the battlefield, people are going to get hurt. We know that.
When Harold's warriors refused to budge, William was forced to send in his most powerful weapon, his cavalry. Many of the 95 horses used today are actually polo ponies. Their use to fast manoeuvres and long sticks means they can charge the line at full speed.
The first thing you hear, you see the horses, and then you can feel the horses. The ground starts to shake, and you see them running towards you, and they've got the steam coming out of their nostrils. Then you're pumped.
But for William, his shock troops were no match for the English shield wall and its axe-wielding warriors.
They stood at the top of the hill with all their shields interlocked and the big axes swinging around, and those nags came up the hill and they were stunned. To add insult to injury to the poor old Normans is the Saxons didn't know any better than to smash the horses with their axes, which was against the rules of war as far as those Normans and French are concerned, because you've got to imagine those horses are very expensive. In modern terms, you're talking like as if they were driving up that hill in Ferraris, and the English who'd arrived at the battle in their little Fiestas had got out and started scraping the keys down the side.
The fighting went on all day. As evening fell, William tried one last tactic. He ordered his men to approach the English line, then pretend to retreat, to lure the English out from the shield wall so he could surround them and cut them down.
The Saxon shield wall, which had proved absolutely implacable and unbreakable throughout the day, broke itself. And William was able to send fast, galloping troops of cavalry around the flanks of these pursuing Saxons, slaughtering them to a man. And in went the Norman infantry, in went the cavalry, and once those men who had stood all day in that shield heard the sound of horses behind them or around them, they knew the battle was over.
With the shield wall broken, the English army lost its vital cohesion. And to make matters worse, just at this critical point, a Norman arrow hit King Harold in the eye.
When Harold was wounded, Anglo-Saxon military honour was such that you could not leave the battlefield if your lord was injured or dead. So when Harold was killed, the cream of England stayed here and died. More than anything, that really accounts for why it was such a sweeping victory.
The victorious Normans went on to have a huge impact on the English state, culture and language. Years of preparation went into creating this spectacular event, as interesting and as exciting for the crowd as it was for the reenactors.